Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. This week in Raid, we had the gear farming events going on. We had just finished up a Savage 2x drop rates out of Fire Knight, so hopefully you managed to do some of that. Got some good stuff. We also recently got the ninja character, and so hopefully, if you need a ninja, we have a pretty decent legendary champion now. We're also in the middle of a 2x sacred event weekend. I should say middle, it just started. Today is just the 2x, tomorrow is the 10x for martial ed. And on Sunday, there's a 10x for Duchess. I will be going for Duchess. My videos usually go up on Sunday, so this will go up then. And I will also be doing another video to record my results of my shard pulls, so hopefully I will post something happy. If not, I might just not post anything. As far as account progress goes, I've got my missions underway. This will probably be done in a few days. And as you just saw, I was working on masteries for my martial ed. Anyway, on to the topic of today's video. Something I did a lot this week was gear cleansing, or going through gear and selling 90% of it and having to sort through the rest of it. So why am I talking about gear cleansing? And I'm calling this gear cleansing for the masses because when I watch a gear cleansing or a gear guide from most content creators, I personally have had a hard time relating to some of their decisions. Their advice is solid, so no faults there. What they tell you in terms of stats to keep, again, great advice. I cannot do that better. But there's a very simple fact about this game in that you've got 2 gear champions, you've got so many spaces for free equipment. So how do we use this area here? You have the best, called inventory of gear, the gear our champions. And I wanted something that applied to everybody or all levels. Not just for, oh, if it doesn't have XYZ stat, then you should sell it. Like that's kind of an oversimplification. I guess I shouldn't say simplification. That's far too specific. That's not something I can keep in my head as I'm going through and cleansing my gear. So I've got 3 general things that you should keep in mind for everybody as they go and sort through their gear. First and foremost is upgrading your gear. Upgrading your gear is super important because how your gear rolls, especially in the later game, might determine if you keep it a piece, use a piece, or sell a piece, right? So if you're very early game, this isn't a problem. You don't roll anything until you actually need it. As you hit the mid game, I would say start rolling your pieces to at least +8. +8 is usually generally good to see which way a piece is going to start to roll. And for +8, you can get your silver back if it rolls badly. Almost all of it. Depends on how many tries it takes, but usually you get almost all your silver back. Just to see, like, oh, I'll roll it to 8, see how it goes, and if it goes badly, you just sell it, and you broke even. Otherwise, you keep it, and maybe you roll it up, maybe use it, or maybe you don't. So that depends on where you are in the game. I'm at the +8, +12 stage, so I kind of roll most of my stuff to 8. And during an enhancement event, which we had this past week, I rolled most of my gear to 12. And that helped me keep and sell based on my next 2 criteria. So point number 2 would be to have different categories. This is just, let's say, the category can be something like weapons, for example. So most people will say, okay, my category might be weapons, someone else's categories might be weapons, helmets, and shields. And to each category is number 3 on my list here, is to have a limit to each category. So however you define your categories, also define your limits for those categories. Personally, I like to say about 125 to 150 of each item in the top row. So total, we want about I want about 450 pieces. Overall, I want somewhere around 900. And that gives you about 100 wiggle room to either wait out until next artifact enhancement event, or if you're going to overnight farm, it can go to your inventory instead of going into your inbox. That's kind of how I break down my own personal management space. You might have different ones, but I'm just giving you what I use. Actually, I prefer to have like closer to 125 in each of these. But again, these are kind of soft numbers. You can make exceptions depending on your own circumstances. So those are my three categories, or my three approaches for this, and this works for everybody. But as far as what I do for specific categories, I've already told you the top row, but the middle row is usually where people get stuck on. And again, I would still say 150 overall for each piece. And the middle row has more nuance to it because they got more stats, basically. The main state actually changes. For flat stats, I would only keep very specific exceptions. I've only got 3 flat stat pieces on the whole account. This is a speed piece, basically a speed piece, and an HP chest with double speed. So you can see the theme there of keep speed pieces. But in each category, I say, well, let's start with gloves. For gloves, I would say keep your HP and defense ones as something you need, because you need your characters to stay alive, especially your support champions. Your next category would be probably attack gloves, only good for bomb champions. Because some people say just flat out sell these. I'm thinking maybe one day I build a bomb champion and I'll have a few options. That's it. Most people in the early game go with crit rate gloves because that's what they need to do just to get the crit. There are a bunch of champions in the game that also do something on a crit, so this just enables that. Most serious damage dealers use crit damage gloves. Again, keep a number of those that you actually want for your account. I am trying to do more of these. I think I just picked that up from the 2X Savage, and that was probably the best one I got. This is pretty terrible. This isn't bad. Like this is probably a better gun than that one. But so you can use this filtering system just to kind of like see what your category is, see what if you're over your limit. Go into each of your subcategories. Again, HP and defense for chest pieces. I've got a lot of these. I probably have too many. So this is a place where I could do some trimming. I would probably focus my next gear cleansing here. Grab some of those. Attack is another category that I've been trying to work on. So I've actually been growing this category in terms of what I've developing. Plarium hasn't been really helping us out here either. A lot of the characters they've just been handing us are just attack champion, magic attack champions even. For example, Astralon, Herndig, Ninja. In the past 4 months, I think they just kind of drop these attack champions on us. There need more attack champions, right? No, not really. Okay. Chess pieces also have resistant accuracy. These become more and more important as you get to the later game, or you hit content where you actually want to resist the boss. For example, the Eternal Dragon. I use actually some resist heavy people there, and in arena you want your cleansers and your support type champions to not get debuffed or CC'd, so resist is how you do it there. And accuracy is more and more important as you get the late game, as your Great Hall finishes. You don't need as much HP chest, you actually need more accuracy. Especially for something like the Doom Tower and the Frost Spider, for example. The accuracy requirements is in the 350 to 375 at a minimum to start landing your debuffs. Depends on which boss you're talking about. Frostbiters is even more than that. Last little category would be boots. 99% of your champions are probably going to be in speed boots until you get to a fairly late game composition. So keep a number of speed boots. And you might even do substat division here, just to say, okay, I want to see the ones that have crit rate. I want to see the ones that have resist or accuracy, or resist defense, resist HP. Because you're looking for boots that are, speed, so you actually go and either keep you alive or do damage. So crit rate, crit damage, like attack, for example. And I got nothing. Geez, that's terrible. Flat attack. There we go. Yeah. So as far as your boots go, keep all the speed ones for the most part. Outside of that, there are good reasons to keep HP and defense boots. Although I would only recommend keeping ones that do have a speed substat. And these can be useful for either champions that just need to be very tanky, like incredibly tanky, or the clan boss, for example. Clan boss is probably a good place for, especially defense boots. Like I ended up using a lot of defense boots in a traditional clan boss team. Very interesting role there. You need someone to be very tanky and a little slow, and with some accuracy. There you go. Good boots. But for clan boss, yeah, just to reach how much defense you want, or you have a defensive nuker like a rosin. These are good. Those are good considerations. And last but not least, attack boots. Attack boots, you basically want to look for crit rate, speed, preferably both, if you can find it. But again, very much pretty niche. Good if you need to build a blend, something like a blender team. But again, it's have your category, have your selection, so that when you actually have to move in that direction, you have the best options available. You take the same philosophy I showed here. It applies to jewelry. The only two notable things I'll talk about are, attack amulets are very niche. I would only keep one or two per faction. And banners, for the most part, it's almost always about accuracy. You don't need very many HP attack or defense banners. I would keep, 3 to 5 of each category. I'd keep 6 or more, probably, of accuracy banners, because accuracy banners are just such a pain in the butt in this game. And you only need 3 or 4 resist banners. Once you go too many, I'd probably trim some of these. And that's it. That's how you can organize your gear. As your gear gets more expansive, you move up through the game, you upgrade more gear to figure out what you want to keep, what you want to sell. But hopefully, just having these limits, these categories, and these, let's call them categories and limits per types of gear, allows you to sell the things you don't need and keep the things that you may need. And this will help you through any stage of Raid Shadow Legends, because you only got 1,000 spaces, and that's how I manage mine. Anyway, hopefully you pulled something great this weekend in terms of the 2x summoning event, and hopefully I get lucky on Sunday and get a Duchess. I will see you in the next video.